We look at part 18, which is just a summary of everything we've done up to now. So let's look at the summary. Factors such as the client's earnings, as we said before, the disposable income, so what can they afford to pay, transactional and access to the funds requirements are some of the essential elements that would help the bank official to determine which products or services might, sorry for my auto, might suit the client's needs. The advantage of utilizing a bank product for transacting, saving, or investing is that it is a very low risk, as we established. In fact, many professionals will use the term risk free. We also said the longer the investment period, the higher the return, the rate of return. And we also said the shorter the investment period, the lower the rate of return. Okay? All banks publish their prices, fees, and interest rates. Some of the aspects that would need to be considered when offering the client options that match their specific profile are the following. The length of the deposit. How long do they want to deposit? For 12 months or for 5 years or for 15 years or for 20 years or up to retirement, if it's a retirement annuity. What do they want that for? Retirement. There's restrictions and penalties for early withdrawals. Like say early withdrawals. And the restrictions is that they cannot withdraw, but if they want to, they're gonna have a penalty. So the restriction will be they cannot withdraw within the 12 months or 5 years. If they do, they're going to pay a penalty, which is an early, for an early withdrawal, they're going to pay a penalty. Liquidity. Do you remember what liquidity still means? Shout a bit louder. Yes. How quickly I can convert that to cash. The risk, is it high risk, medium risk, or low risk? The required rate of return and the tax implications. There are 3 types of interest. We said there's nominal interest, we discussed that. There's real rate of return and there's effective interest. It is essential to have a general understanding of these terms to be able to answer the client's interest queries and to be able to explain the different interest rates using interest calculations should the need arise. Then we looked at nominal interest. Nominal interest is the percentage, remember the percentage of interest that is stated and earned for a single period, usually calculated on an annual basis, and I said annual is also on a yearly basis, or it's the same as on a 12-month basis. That's all the same. Some of the categories of interest are, we talked about the NACM. The NACM is the nominal annual compounded. We said the M stands for monthly. And the NACU, nominal annual compounded, and the Q was for quarterly. And the NACA is a nominal annual compounded interest rate, and the H was for half yearly. The H stands for that half. There's the Q and there's the M. Alrighty. Effective interest rate, we said, is the amount of interest the client can earn for the period of the investment expressed as a percentage. So they will say you will get 5% interest for that period. Full stop. The real interest rate is the actual or real amount of interest if a client can earn, which has been adjusted for inflation. So the moment you add inflation to the calculation, that will be then the real interest rate. Pricing generally refers to the pricing options offered by banks for various products. These options are flexible and can match a range of requirements. There are many types of fees we also looked at. So the types of fees that banks charge for the various product types, including over-the-counter fees. Why? Because that teller working there wants a salary, and the salary comes at the cost to the bank, And that is why they charge you for over-the-counter fees if you make use of that teller. Administration fees, there's debit order fees, ATM transactions, when you draw money at the ATM, you pay. There's card fees, especially for lost or stolen cards. If you must go to the bank and you must get the new card, they normally charge you a fee. I know my bank at one stage they charged me 100 Rand for a new card. Different banks charge different fees. Statement fees, stop payment fees, and unpayment fees. If your debit orders doesn't go off, they charge you X amount of rands. Bank deposits generally do not attract commissions. Bank deposits as investments are a secure means of saving money, especially in short to medium investments. They can be particularly attractive when interest rates are relatively high. They have a limited potential for capital growth over the longer terms. You see, they've got a limited potential for capital growth. To cater for different risk profiles, various investment portfolios offers various degree of risk. We said the most significant risk in investment is that the investors will lose capital that he or she invests. I will not say really might, but yes, there is a good chance that they will lose money. But there's also a good chance that they will make money. The specific code covers the following key areas: the general duties of the provider. So what is expected of the providers? Confidentiality and privacy of the client's information, things regarding advertising, the complaints resolution when clients are happy, not happy, unhappy, dissatisfied, and waiver of rights. We said waiver of rights, not acceptable, and it will be null and void. Null and void, you still remember that. The risk profile of a client will determine whether he or she would choose a conservative or a higher risk product. And then deposits, we look here at bank deposits, we look at unit trusts, and you look at annuities. All right. And then you look at the term, the risk, and the rate of return. So, bank deposits is a short term, unit trust is medium term, annuities is long term. As you know it, because you start maybe paying your annuities when you start to work in your 20s, you pay that annuity till the day you are 65 years old, you're going to retire. So let's say you plus minus pay that for 40 to 45 years. So it's long term. What is the risk? Bank deposits, we all know it's very low risk. Unit trust is medium risk, depends on the underlying investments, and annuities, the level of risk depends on the underlying investments. Where did they invest the money? There are various options such as annuities with a conservative portfolio. We know conservative, it is low risk, but also low returns, which means minimizes risk, and aggressive portfolio, which are high risk. So an aggressive portfolio, which are high risk. Alrighty. Then when you look at bank deposits again, here the last one, rate of return, relatively conservative in comparison to other products. It provides income in the form of interest, and the interest can be added to the capital. It means a depositor could effectively earn more money on his or her initial investment. When you look at unit trust in the middle, regarding the rate of return, it provides interest income and potential growth and should perform well. But depending on the underlying investment and market conditions. And when you look at annuities regarding their rate of return, it's long term and should perform well, but once again, depending on the underlying investment and market conditions. And that is the end of the summary of this whole class of business 5, long and short term deposits. I hope you enjoyed it and you've learned a lot, and that I made it easier for you to understand. And if you still have any questions, you still know what to do. Over and out. Goodbye. Best of luck.